Welcome back, America. We're keeping a close eye on President Trump when he begins speaking in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. We're going to turn to that affordability conference. But in the meantime, Congress is about to do something it hasn't done since the Nixon administration: environmental permitting reform. The man who's helping lead that charge, Congressman Mike Collins of Georgia, joined us earlier today. Have a watch to what we talk about. To a floor vote is joining us now, Congressman Mike Collins from the great state of Georgia, who's also running for U.S. Senate. Sir, good to have you on the show.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Thank y'all.
This is, I think, one of the more transformational pieces of legislation that could get through the Congress this year. We had the big, beautiful bill, but permitting reform, these regulations, these zoning, all these things, they've slowed down trillions of dollars of projects over the last few decades. How important is it, and do you think you'll get some bipartisan support?
Yeah, you know, John, it's a great question. And permitting is one of the biggest problems that we've had out there. Every time I talk to constituents or I talk to stakeholders, whatever the industry is, permitting, and how slow and how cumbersome it has gotten over the decades that we've just let the federal agencies just get out of control with their overreach. And the only thing we're doing with the Permit Act is we are telling the federal government that you are going to be more efficient, more productive, and we're going to make life more affordable for the American people out there.
Congressman, I've looked into this, and over 30% of the time on construction sites, whether it's business, whether it's residential, is spent just waiting for permits to clear, waiting to get the green light from the government, whether it's state or local, to pass through on a job. This is going to affect Democrats and Republicans, so I would like to think that this might be something that could draw some bipartisan support.
Yeah, you know, Amanda, you're exactly right. And I think we all hear it, whether you're Democrat or Republican. When I talk to folks, take the road construction, for instance, you were talking about. Your construction companies out there are padding their bids by 30% because they know on average that a road construction, from the time that they say they want to do the project to the time you put the first automobile on that road, is 10 years. And the first 7.5 years are just getting permits and fighting all of these frivolous lawsuits that are going on out there. So all we're doing is speeding this thing up. And when you do that, naturally it's going to make things more affordable. And that's just on road construction. You know, you could take the energy sector as well, because we have so many people that these power companies want to build natural gas electric generating facilities now. And it takes over 10 years just to get a pipeline permit to lay the natural gas pipeline. So many things are just way out of control. And like I said, all we're doing is just speeding up the process. We're not doing anything other than that.
Yeah, what a remarkable opportunity, though, something that could have been done for a long time. There is a potential huge pent-up economic boom that this permitting reform, particularly when combined with things that were in the big, beautiful bill, it seems like 2026 is maybe shaping up to have a real run of economic success in America. Tell us what you think about what this and other new pieces of legislation you've passed might do for the economy in 26.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You combine this because everybody knows that you can't just put one piece of the puzzle back on the board and then just say, okay, we call it a day. Because there's been so much influx from so many different agencies over the years, especially due to the fact that we've only been passing these CRs and these continuous resolutions, and we haven't been holding people accountable from the federal agency standpoint. And so now that we've got the big, beautiful bill, we've got energy independence set up, we've got the tax structure set up right, we've got American people wanting to bring their jobs and bring their businesses back to the shores of this country. We've got to be able to make sure that we can permit, that we can get these jobs, these businesses up and running in short order. This is just one of the pieces of the puzzle that's going to be able to allow us to do that. And it is, I tell people every day, John, this is the most incredible time to be a member of Congress right now, especially if you are a small business person and you want to see this country get back to producing not just goods and services, but jobs for the American people.
So important.
Sir, I suppose everyone except for the boomer generation and the remnant of the greatest generation, everyone else is experiencing practically the housing shortage and the housing crisis. When it comes to affordability, this is going to reign supreme on voters' minds next year. So removing these roadblocks in the way, that's also going to bring down the cost of housing. How much?
Oh, yeah. Sure it is, Amanda. You talk about just on the housing with the water. There's so many permits that you have to get to buy a house. And the people that are out there building subdivisions, most of the time they don't know whether they fall under federal waters, state waters, or no waters. So they're just out there buying permits and passing that on to the end consumer, which is the person trying to buy that house. And these young people today, you know, the next generation coming up, one of the main reasons I came up here to DC was to make sure that they have the opportunities I had. This is going to help give them the opportunity just by making these houses more affordable from a permitting standpoint. And sometimes that's 10, 15% of a house total cost just on permits.
Sir, you have recently launched a bid for the United States Senate. You're up a good margin, more than 10 points right now. Tell us what's on Georgia voters' minds heading into the midterm elections.
The same thing that it's always been, affordability. They want to make sure that they have the ability to afford gas, food, clothing, shelter for their families, and hopefully put away a little money and sock it away so that they can go on vacation. And the thing is, you know, back in the first Trump administration, the people I know that I surround myself with, they knew what it was like. They knew what it was like to win. And they have been looking forward to getting that back. And with what we set up with that big, beautiful bill, or the working families tax cut plan, as we like to call it now, you're going to see more cash out there in the private sector. And that's going to keep rotating over and over and over again. That's where this economy is about to take off. And like I said, it is an exciting time to be up here. And that's what Georgia voters want. They want someone that reflects Georgia values in this U.S. Senate race. And we know that we have that. I think that's why we've been #1 in the polls. It's why we've been #1 in fundraising and in grassroots supports and getting the amount of elected officials behind us in this U.S. Senate bid.
Yeah, a lot of momentum, no doubt.
Congressman, something else you have a lot of knowledge in. And look, 99 times out of 100, I am going to say less government is better. However, when it comes to permitting, there is one area, and I know you've got expertise in this, commercial driver's licenses, where permitting should be stronger. We're seeing these catastrophes out of California. They're, you know, people who should not have CDLs, who are doing dangerous things on the freeways. How do we reform that in states? Because these are guys who drive across the country, so it doesn't just affect people in California.
Oh, amen, Amanda. Here's the thing, and this is my question. What I do not understand is the fact that you have to take 3 to 6 weeks of just classroom study right now. So if you can't speak or read English, how did you pass that? How did you pass the pre-trip inspection? How did you pass the road trip with someone sitting beside you grading you if you cannot read or speak English? In other words, there's something wrong with this already, and it has to do with the states that were out there issuing these licenses. In my opinion, that's where you need to look at the problem. In my opinion, those states need to be held liable for what they've done, because they have put approximately over 100,000 drivers out there on the road. And a lot of these drivers are just out there getting trucks, and they're running their own business, and they don't know how to run a trucking company, and they're running the rates in the ground. They're running our accident rates up. And the people that actually issued these licenses, they're the ones that we need to be looking to hold accountable.
Yeah. Sir, the NDAA is a major accomplishment for the House. It delivers on the pay troop raise. It delivers on the Golden Dome. It delivers on a long-delayed counter-drone technology for our troops. This seems to be pretty transformational. Talk a little bit about what the Pentagon will get out of this.
Yeah, no, sure, John, you're exactly right on all those fronts. Our military people are going to get the pay raises they need. We're going to address the drones out there. We are going to make sure that the world knows that we are the #1 superpower. We do have the best military in the world. The thing that we need to do is make sure that we take care of our military, and we make sure that we give them not only just the pay that they deserve, but the equipment that they need to get the job done. And that's what this does. Yeah, it's a 3,100-page bill, but it is concise, and it will deliver what we need to deliver for our military out there.
Yeah, that's a big one. And one of the most interesting NDAs in all the years I've been in Washington. It has a lot of new big ideas in it.
Well, because now it's the Department of War.
That's different. Right, the Defense Department of War with Pete Hegseth. How about that? Well, from leading the Senate race to enjoying Georgia's SEC championship this past weekend, Congressman Mike Collins, you're riding on a high that all of America is really glad to see. Great to have you on the show today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all's time. And go Dogs.
Yeah, go Dogs. Look at that. Yeah. little bit of fun at the end of that really great interview, but a lot of substance to it. Quick commercial break. We're keeping an eye on President Trump. As soon as he starts speaking, we'll turn there. But until then, we're going to prepare for a good interview with the folks who are laying wreaths at veterans' graves all across America for this Christmas. We'll have that next, right after these messages. Hey, America, the FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud on the rise called home title theft, and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on a single document, use a fake notary stamp, then file it with the county, and just like that, boom, they're on record as owning your home. Using your ownership, they then take out loans against your equity or even sell your property, and you're not going to know about it until you get a foreclosure or collection notice in the mail, and that's not going to be a good moment. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can protect your equity and find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code JTN at HometitleLock.com. You'll get a free title history report and a free trial. Their $1 million triple lock protection. That's a great deal. $1 million to protect your home. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Find out why I trust Home Title Lock. Protect yourself like I did. Don't be a victim. Protect your equity today. Go to HometitleLock.com and use that promo code JTN. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code JTN.